If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns finally look like the team their fans have been waiting to see all season, and at the heart of their dominant 31-6 victory over the Miami Dolphins in Week 7 was a defensive performance that reminded everyone just how much potential lies within this roster. It wasn't just Myles Garrett terrorizing quarterbacks or the rookie sensation Quinton Judkins powering through defenders. It was safety Grant Delpit who stole the spotlight with the kind of all-around display that screamed Pro Bowl caliber. This wasn't just a good game for Delpit, it was a statement. A reminder of why the Browns drafted him in the second round out of LSU, and a signal that he's evolving into one of the league's premier safeties. He didn't just make plays. He took over the game in every phase, forcing turnovers, applying pressure, stopping drives, and setting the tone for a defense that looked revitalized after weeks of frustration. For a player like Delpit, who's battled injuries early in his career and fought for consistency, this moment feels especially satisfying. Coming into the Dolphins game, the Browns were desperate. They'd dropped 3 straight, morale was low, and questions were flying about the team's leadership and resilience. Delpit admitted before kickoff that it had been so long since he'd experienced a win that he'd almost forgotten what it felt like. But by the final whistle, that feeling came rushing back, and then some. His performance wasn't just about stats, though the numbers jump off the page. It was about the timing of his impact. Every big play seemed to come at a moment when the Browns needed a spark, and Delpit was the one providing it. His day started strong and only got better as the game went on. In the second quarter, he sprinted downfield on special teams and forced a fumble on a kick return, an effort play that perfectly encapsulates the intensity he brings every snap. Cleveland recovered, setting up a scoring drive that swung momentum decisively in their favor. Plays like that don't always make the highlight reels, but coaches and teammates notice. They're the moments that change games, and Delpit has been making more and more of them this season. Later, in the third quarter, he came up clutch again, this time on defense, when Miami tried to convert a fourth down. Wide receiver Malik Washington caught a short pass, but before he could turn upfield, Delpit flew in like a missile and made the stop, shutting down the drive and giving the Browns offense the ball right back. It was the kind of heads-up, fearless tackle that defensive coordinators dream of, and it underscored Delpit's growing reputation as a closer, the guy who finishes plays, ends drives, and seals wins. As if those two moments weren't enough, Delpit had a hand in one of the game's biggest defensive highlights late in the fourth quarter. With Miami trying desperately to claw back into contention, he came off the edge on a disguised blitz, forcing quarterback Tua Tagovailoa to rush his throw. The pressure led directly to an interception by safety Rayshon Jenkins, effectively icing the game. Plays like that don't always show up on the stat sheet, but insiders know how valuable they are. The ability to influence a play without necessarily getting the sack or the pick is what separates great safeties from good ones, and Delpit showed that instinct all game long. Afterward, it didn't take long for the buzz to start building. Mary Kay Cabot, one of the most respected voices covering the Browns, summed it up perfectly in a single post on X. Browns safety Grant Delpit playing at a Pro Bowl level this season. That wasn't hyperbole. It was an acknowledgement of what's been brewing for weeks. Through 7 games, Delpit has racked up 37 combined tackles, 2 tackles for loss, 3 passes defended, and an interception. But beyond the numbers, his leadership and energy have become cornerstones for this defense. He's reading plays faster, communicating with his corners more clearly, and showing a confidence that seems to elevate everyone around him. It's also worth remembering how far he's come. When Delpit entered the league in 2020, he carried sky-high expectations after an All-American career at LSU. Then came the Achilles injury before his rookie season even began, a crushing setback that could have derailed his trajectory. But instead of folding, Delpit attacked his rehab with the same ferocity he now brings to every play. He returned determined not just to get back, but to get better. The 2021 and 2022 seasons were about rebuilding trust in his body and learning the nuances of NFL defenses. Now, in 2025, it's clear he's put it all together. His instincts, timing, and confidence have caught up with his natural athleticism, and the results are showing on Sundays. This resurgence couldn't come at a better time for the Browns. With Myles Garrett rediscovering his rhythm and the defensive line causing havoc, Delpit's play on the back end gives Cleveland a sense of balance and security they've lacked in recent weeks. The front four knows they can be aggressive because they trust the safeties to clean things up if a play breaks loose. That kind of trust breeds confidence, and confidence leads to dominance. Against the Dolphins, the Browns' defense looked as cohesive as it's been all season, and Delpit was the glue holding it all together. What's even more encouraging is the chemistry developing between Delpit and Jenkins, who's been an underrated addition to the secondary. The way they communicate pre-snap, shift coverages, and disguise blitzes shows a level of comfort that only comes with experience and trust. Jenkins' interception in the fourth quarter, which stemmed from Delpit's pressure, was a perfect example of that symbiotic relationship. One player forces the mistake, the other capitalizes on it. That's how elite defenses operate, and it's what the Browns have been striving to build. On the offensive side, rookie running back Quinshon Judkins deserves credit for giving the Browns balance and keeping the defense fresh. His emergence has allowed the team to control time of possession, and that in turn gives playmakers like Delpit more opportunities to shine. It's all connected: the running game, the pass rush, the secondary, and for the first time in a while, it feels like Cleveland has found its rhythm again. After 3 straight losses, that's no small feat. Delpit's journey to this point is also a story about resilience and belief. He's had to block out the noise from critics who labeled him inconsistent or injury-prone. He's had to earn every rep, every start, every bit of respect he's now commanding. And the best part? He's not done yet. At just 26 years old, he's entering his prime with the confidence of a veteran and the hunger of a player still chasing something bigger. The Pro Bowl might be the next milestone, but the way he's playing, even All-Pro consideration isn't out of the question. The Browns coaching staff has noticed it too. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz has given Delpit more freedom to freelance within the system, trusting him to read offenses and make adjustments on the fly. That's a level of responsibility reserved for the most trusted players in any defense, and Delpit has earned it. You can see it in how he positions himself before the snap, constantly scanning, directing traffic, signaling coverages. It's the behavior of a leader, not just a contributor. Cleveland fans have been waiting a long time to see their defense live up to its potential, and performances like this make you believe that maybe, just maybe, the wait is over. The energy in the locker room after the game was palpable, players smiling, music blasting. That weight of the losing streak finally lifted. And in the middle of it all, Delpit stood out not because he was loud or boastful, but because his teammates knew exactly how much he'd given to help them get there. He was the quiet enforcer, the steady hand guiding the chaos. As the season moves forward, the challenge will be maintaining that intensity. The NFL is a league that demands consistency, and if Delpit can keep up this level of play, there's no doubt he'll hear his name called when Pro Bowl rosters are announced. But more importantly, he'll have established himself as one of the foundational pieces of this Browns defense for years to come. He's not just making plays, he's changing the identity of the unit, turning it from one that reacts to one that dictates. So as Browns fans celebrate a much-needed win, it's worth appreciating what's happening behind the numbers. Grant Delpit isn't just having a good stretch, he's evolving into the kind of player every championship-caliber team needs. A leader, a tone-setter, a difference-maker. If this trajectory continues, the Pro Bowl won't just be a goal, it'll be inevitable. And for a player who once wondered if he'd ever feel the thrill of winning again, that's a story worth celebrating. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Stefanski is furious. And when you hear that, you know it isn't just another routine press conference statement or a fleeting moment of frustration on the sidelines. This is about a coach who feels his authority is being questioned, his locker room discipline undermined, and his carefully crafted culture at risk of unraveling right in front of his eyes. Rumors are swirling around the Cleveland Browns, and the epicenter of it all is none other than Kevin Stefanski, a coach who has long been praised for his calm, analytical approach, now reportedly boiling over with frustration. Sources close to the team say that Stefanski has been seen pacing in the hallways of the team facility, muttering under his breath, and in some cases, directly confronting star players who he feels have overstepped their bounds. It all started after what insiders are calling a series of subtle but unmistakable slights during practice sessions and team meetings. Players, allegedly emboldened by recent successes and perhaps a little too comfortable with their own star status, are reportedly ignoring some of Stefanski's instructions. Some of these are not trivial. These are core principles the coach has drilled into the team for years. From timing in the huddle to adherence to defensive schemes, the rumors suggest that Stefanski has noticed a growing sense of entitlement creeping into the locker room. And while the Browns have always had talented athletes, the concern now is that talent alone won't carry a team whose cohesion is starting to crack. The friction seems to have peaked during the last few games, when Stefanski's expectations clashed with the free-spirited approach of some of the team's marquee players. It's been whispered in insider circles that certain key veterans have begun to question some of Stefanski's more rigid disciplinary measures. The coach, never one to shy away from confrontation, reportedly made it clear in no uncertain terms that he expects total accountability. But accountability, as anyone who follows the NFL closely knows, doesn't always come quietly. And in a locker room full of superstars, enforcing it can be a delicate balancing act. Sources suggest that tensions reached a boiling point after a recent practice where Stefanski allegedly called out a high-profile receiver in front of teammates, demanding respect not just for the playbook, but for the authority of the coach himself. Word on the street is that this confrontation was more than just a moment of anger. It was a statement. Stefanski apparently feels that without discipline, the Browns' season could spiral, no matter how much raw talent they have on the roster. Some insiders are even speculating that this could signal a shift in the team's internal hierarchy, with Stefanski asserting that no player, regardless of status, is above the rules. But here's where it gets interesting. The fallout has reportedly been palpable. Sources say that a few star players are now questioning the coach's approach, and whispers of discontent are spreading through the locker room like wildfire. It's the kind of situation that, if not handled delicately, can lead to fractures that last far beyond a single season. In recent interviews and team meetings, Stefanski is said to have doubled down on the importance of team culture and discipline. Those close to the team describe a coach who is almost obsessively focused on structure, demanding a level of preparation and attention to detail that some of the more confident stars reportedly find restrictive. The friction between Stefanski's philosophy and the players' desire for autonomy is creating a narrative that is impossible to ignore. Some players, according to rumors, are feeling constrained, believing that Stefanski's discipline is stifling their creativity on the field. Others, however, reportedly respect the coach's authority and understand that his strict approach has been instrumental in building a competitive squad. The result is a locker room caught in a tug-of-war between independence and accountability, and all eyes are on how Stefanski navigates this minefield. Perhaps the most intriguing part of this saga is the subtle hints that the media have been picking up on. Insider chatter suggests that Stefanski's patience has a limit, and that limit may have been reached. There are reports of heated sideline discussions, tense team meetings, and even private locker room confrontations that have left some players rattled. The rumblings suggest that Stefanski is not interested in making friends. He's interested in winning football games and maintaining control over his locker room. The drama is being fueled further by the fact that Cleveland has a roster full of high-profile personalities, each with their own agendas and expectations. Balancing these egos while keeping the team united is no small task, and according to the rumors, Stefanski is not backing down from the challenge. The consequences of this tension could be significant. Analysts and insiders are suggesting that if Stefanski and the Stars cannot find common ground, it could affect performance on the field. Even a minor fracture in trust or communication can ripple through a team as large and complex as the Browns. There are whispers that some players might even start to consider their own futures if they feel their approach isn't being respected, although nothing has been confirmed. The sense of urgency is palpable, and it's creating a perfect storm for one of the most dramatic chapters in the Browns' recent history. While Stefanski's fury is at the center, the undercurrents of potential rebellion and locker room politics are keeping everyone on edge. What's particularly fascinating about this story is the duality of perception. On one hand, Stefanski's insistence on discipline is lauded by those who value structure, respect, and preparation. On the other hand, In an age where superstar athletes often wield enormous influence, some insiders believe his strict approach could backfire if it alienates key players. It's a classic struggle between leadership and ego, one that has played out in sports history countless times but never fails to captivate. The Browns are now in the eye of this storm, with fans, analysts, and insiders all speculating on how long Stefanski can maintain authority before the friction either resolves or escalates into something that could define the season. The rumor mill continues to churn, with speculation ranging from subtle locker room rebellions to high-stakes ultimatums. While no official statements have confirmed any dramatic fallout, sources close to the team insist that the tension is real, and that Stefanski's reputation as a calm, collected coach is being tested like never before. Some insiders hint at possible interventions from management, trying to mediate the friction before it spills over into public view. Others suggest that Stefanski might double down even further, using his fury as a catalyst to reassert control and remind everyone why he's at the helm. The drama is, for lack of a better word, delicious for fans and analysts alike. The Browns' locker room, long seen as a mix of talent and personality, is now a pressure cooker of emotion, ego, and authority. At the heart of it, what we're seeing is a narrative that transcends wins and losses. Stefanski's fury, the standoff with star players, and the whispers of rebellion all contribute to a story that could define the identity of the team for years to come. Will Stefanski's approach solidify the Browns as disciplined contenders, or will the tension undermine cohesion and create long-term headaches? As the season progresses, all eyes will be on Cleveland, watching every sideline interaction, every press conference remark, and every locker room encounter for signs of resolution or escalation. In the meantime, the rumor mill spins, fans speculate, and Stefanski, furious and unyielding, continues to demand discipline from his stars, proving that in the NFL, authority is never given. It is asserted. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!